I'm not, no. But a man bit my bad. They would agree from the initial stage. But
as time goes on. So I think in general, what we need to do is just being extra careful, especially with this big people, footballers and the celebrities.
What's our advice?
We are part of it.
It's not about being careful. Just make sure that you do it the right way. You get married
and
before
why?
you do all those things.
And yes, but don't you know that your wife can also charge you off for those things?
Okay.
That one is okay.
It is okay if
your wife
if your wife charges you, that means maybe there's something fundamentally wrong in the relationship.
Even for your wife charging, you quite a serious case. We don't need them to charge you. No quite jailing.
That's what I'm saying. That then there's something fundamentally wrong. Anyway, we are not here to talk
so
about.
I like what you said. Sir, we should just find a proper way, get married.
Yes.
And also, I think it's a very good call because some of the guys in this house are getting married very soon.
Very soon, okay.
We bless God for that. So God bless you, Pastor.
Thank you very much. God bless you too. My producer is just telling me that if you can mention names of those getting married.
They know themselves, I beg you. Let me say this thing. You know, when we come and sit there, we mention names. When we go out, people do threaten us. So I've been threatened like 2 or 3 times. So please, if I come and with this face from now on.
You need police protection.
I need it. So from now on, I don't mention anyone's name. So now, if you just go ahead.
Right.
The threatening is too much.
All right. On that note, let's turn our attention to transfers. Who is your club buying? Who is your club following? We'll start with Benjamin Sesko, whose transfer saga is more of a headache to both Newcastle and Manchester United, because Newcastle United sent a bid of 90 million, including their add-ons, 90 million euros, and then Manchester United also replied by sending a bid of 85 million euros, including add-ons. But it's now left with the player to decide which club he wants to actually go to. But if I'll be Leipzig, I'll be thinking about Newcastle United, because definitely they are giving me more money. But Benjamin Sesko is it seems most likely to be leaning towards a transfer to Manchester United, because the prospect of playing with Brian Mbeumo, of playing with Matheus Cunha, with leading that particular front line, is something that's really interesting him. Benito.
Yes, anyway, I've been following this particular story, and then as you rightly elaborated, it has been a battle between Manchester United and Newcastle United, the two Uniteds. At this point in time, it isn't about the price or the valuation on this player, but the player's consent. If the price was the only thing to just cushion all these situations, and then Newcastle for but at this material moment, the player wants to join Manchester United, because I think and believe that he might have belief in Ruben Amorim's project at Manchester United. Whereas, as it stands, how Newcastle wants to offload probably Alexander Isak is another question. If Isak stays, Sesko's move to Newcastle wouldn't be materialized. But at this point in time, Newcastle also wants Benjamin Sesko, because they are much aware of Alexander Isak's movement to Liverpool. So you could clearly see the twist in it. If Sesko moved to Manchester United, Liverpool would probably be at the toughest side to get Alexander Isak.
Yeah.
So the movement for Benjamin Sesko determines where Isak also.
So it's become like a charade of or maybe a tug of war between three different parties.
Yes.
Instead of, and now Liverpool may seem not to be in this particular fight, but they are actively involved.
Yes.
If Benjamin Sesko should actually get to Newcastle United, then you think that
it will just propel Isak's movement
for Isak to move to Liverpool. And if Liverpool should actually agree on a fee with Newcastle United for the transfer of Benjamin Sesko, for that is the transfer of Alexander Isak, that is, then most definitely Newcastle United would need a different player.
That makes the story a bit dicey. But since the player wants to join Manchester United, it tells us one story that Liverpool should be extra careful, because if Sesko joins Man U, the movement of Isak probably would be in limbo. But at this point, if Sesko joins Man U, it will be one of the best signing for Manchester United. It is the profile they are lacking.
Yeah.
As you said, with Matheus Cunha, with Brian Tessadong Mbeumo, with Bruno Fernandes, and you have Benjamin Sesko up front. They are good to go.
Perfect.
So then, landlord, let me ask you about your thoughts on this team, Benjamin Sesko deal. Arsenal were the ones in the on the front runners for his signature, and just before they could agree with him, he actually mentioned that he wasn't going to sign for them. The club increased the value of the player, and the agent also increased the transfer fees, put in a lot of conditions because they thought that Arsenal were definitely going in for him because they sought after him in January. They couldn't find him. Arsenal turned their attentions to Victor Gyökeres and then signed him. Just before signing Victor Gyökeres, they now reduced the transfer price. They now reduced the asking or the wage ask price and all that they were looking for that particular player. It means that he doesn't want to stay with RB Leipzig, so definitely he's going to leave. But if you are Benjamin Sesko, landlord, where are you going? Manchester United or Newcastle?
Well, I think Nana, for your last question, I think as a player, United is not. If I go to United, they will project me more than Newcastle. Although Newcastle is coming up, but Manchester United is Manchester United. No matter what happens, they are still the big teams or the big giants in the world. So for the player, and I think I'm reading something online from Fabrizio Romano. The player said, "I want to join Manchester United." And then we've seen players that said, "I want to go here." One man now, and we've seen players also and so Uncle Sia, but the likes of Coutinho said, "I will go to Barcelona." He went to Barcelona. He didn't perform very well. So for him saying he wants to go to Manchester United, I think I'll agree with him 100% because as a young guy or as a player and growing up, and although United is not performing very well, but talk about the projection, talking about big teams and performance, it's all about Manchester United. And I think it's a very good call for how do you call it? Liverpool to buy any other good car or call Newcastle there. I think it's a very good call for Liverpool. The last time I said it here, I say if Isak wants to leave Newcastle and go to Liverpool, Newcastle to use this opportunity to take huge amount of money from Liverpool. 200 million is not bad because Liverpool has the money. And Liverpool need a striker right now to lift the Champions League and lift the trophy. Although last season they lifted the league, but they need a typical striker to do justice for them. And Isak is one of the players. So for Benjamin, there are things I agree with him. He has to go to Manchester United. You could see the players this time around Manchester United are buying and they are in for business. They are in for justice next season. So for adding Benjamin to it, it's a very good deal for him. So we're just hoping that Benjamin, by the close of the week, now everything is signed.
Everything is signed. Another club that's interested in this particular deal and is Liverpool, as I mentioned earlier. Now, Liverpool have an interest in there, and it looks as though Liverpool are almost convinced of signing Alexander Isak, so much so that they have accepted 53 million euros for another striker that plays for their club in Darwin Núñez. So Darwin Núñez to Al Hilal, 53 million euros as the first fixed fee that Al Hilal are going to transfer to Liverpool Football Club. If that particular amount is actually agreed on, or maybe that particular amount, let me say, is 100% agreed on. Now, what is left is the wage structure, which, when it comes to clubs from Saudi Arabia, they shouldn't have a problem with because they are cash stacked. So, if Darwin Núñez should move to Al Hilal, what does that spell for Newcastle United, because they are definitely going to lose Alexander Isak?
Yes, when we're talking from the monetary aspect, Liverpool have everything that it takes to get the signature of Alexander Isak. As it stands, because if for nothing, they sold Luis Diaz for about 65 million to Bayern.
Almost 70 million.
Almost 70, yes.
71 million.
Yes. And so with the exit of Darwin Núñez, it would also add up to that particular money. Not forgetting, they had quoted around 100 million for Alexander Isak. Before Newcastle quoted around 150, 120.
Yes.
The
first bid was rejected.
Exactly.
A first bid of 110 million pounds without any add-ons.
If they first gave in 110, where it was rejected, agreed. they've been able to raise as much as 80 million from Darwin Nunes sales and Luis Diaz sales. Into so one time they now have not less than 190.
Yeah.
So they can easily trigger that particular.
Is going for 53 million euros. That's a fixed.
Yes.
Adding to 71 million euros.
Yes.
That means they have over 143 million euros.
You get it.
And now, when you compare both amounts, 144 million euros, when you compare that amount, and then you compare that Newcastle United are saying that they want 150 million pounds in total before they get Alexander.
There's no money for Liverpool.
And let's commend Richard Hughes, Liverpool sporting director. He's doing wonderful signings because after the exit of Luis Diaz, Darwin Nunes follows. It creates enough room for Florian Wirtz, for Mohamed Salah, for Cody Gakpo, for Hugo Ekitike, and now Alexander Isak. So it tells us that they've been very strategic with their signings, yet raising monies for their targeted players. I still think and believe that if Alexander Isak joins Liverpool, it will help him, most especially if he wants to be projected well within the sphere of the English Premier League. I know his quality, I know his skill set, but when he joins Liverpool, the kind of projection he would get, it will be way higher than what he is now getting from Newcastle United. It will be a wonderful move for Liverpool, but we are the team that will compete with Liverpool, the likes of Arsenal, the likes of Chelsea and other.
So now we are talking about that. Let's look at where it stands now. If Liverpool should get Alexander Isak, now they have Cody Gakpo, they have Hugo Ekitike, they have Alexander Isak, they have Mohamed Salah,
Fit.
Florian Wirtz.
They have Florian Wirtz as well. Where are they going to manage all these players and
it's very simple.
together?
Lalo, let me help you here. You are my brother. Let me help you.
You guys are brothers now.
We are brothers long time. So when you understand that ngophobia
We've sorted out.
Yes. It's very simple. Having Salah at the right side, Florian Wirtz behind Alexander Isak, and Cody Gakpo at the left. That's all. That should be the front four.
I see that people are calling this particular line, the number that is on your screen, 05005004 man. You should actually text that number and not call. Please text the number and not call. We'll be able to read all your messages if you text the number for us, 0500500421. Benito,
yes.
Continue.
In fact, if Ancelot, next season, I should say it that way, it will be one of the easiest seasons for manager like Ancelot. Yes. Having Jerry Frimpong, Milos Kekis, Ibrahim Akonate, Virgil van Dijk at your back line. From the middle, you have Rai Gravenberch, you have Alexis Maka. Oh, Charlie, he is Oko. That man is far gone. Where you haven't informed Gakpo, Florian Wirtz in their middle, Mo Salah right, Alexander Isak. The only problem will be his bench. If Isak isn't around, who replaces him?
Hugo Ekitike.
I understand, but just look at the gap between Alexander Isak, how prolific he is, and Hugo Ekitike. I know it will come close.
It wouldn't be a sharp decline in quality.
Yes.
Well,
how about Mohamed Salah's exit? If Salah isn't around, who replaces him?
Well, they have Harvey Elliott.
If Harvey Elliott is on the verge of leaving to Everton.
And then they also have Ruben Gomoha, who has been performing excellent in pre-season.
That 15-year-old is. What do you mean for Liverpool 15-year, 16-year-old players? The pressure and the tension.
But the whole FC Barcelona was in the hands of.
They were just complimenting his effort. Lamine Yamal.
I know similar or same can be done for.
Until they have a manager in the shape of Hansi Flick.
So another issue that I was actually looking at is the issue of Liverpool's defense. For years and years, we've seen Liverpool having one of the strongest defenses in England, in the world. And then we talk about the likes of Van Dijk, Konate, Matip, and the likes. Now, when you look at the profile of their defenders right now, the age profile, just look at the age of Virgil van Dijk. He's 34 years of age.
He's aging.
And when you watch the game against AC Milan and you watch that goal that Rafael Leao scored,
you are right.
You realize that this particular season is going to be a long one for him.
Yeah.
So Konate is also good, but then injury concerns, he's never.
Real Madrid even wants to snatch
him away from Liverpool. And you look at Joe Gomez, who is almost the
he can't be trusted.
He can't be trusted, and he's also injury prone, by a very solid defender. Landlord, do you think Liverpool's defense, with all the investments that they are making for their sharp attack, do you think the defense will be able to hold up?
Nana, for a team of Liverpool always trying to get attacking more than defenders, and I think, as Benito said, I watched that match against AC Milan and Liverpool, and you could see that Van Dijk was really suffering because of we share young boys. Rafael Leao is young, and you know his flair. No, he's very fast, strong. So for Konate, Van Dijk and the left back
Milos Kerkis.
Yes.
And okay, so right now you're two Robertson if you want, and then Jeremy Frimpong. I think for the 2 they are okay, but
the central defense.
But I think Brentford will be Johnny player more by this time. Talking about the central, when you go and up to now, I don't know which central.
People are trying to get McGay from
Crystal Palace.
From Crystal Palace, the England defender.
When we talk about defenders who are on top, I don't see him to be part. So defenders who are on top right now, you could talk about this Raul Asensio from Real Madrid, Paul Kubasi, Martinez, and those kind of people. Top defenders, so Marquinhos. You know, Marquinhos is aging, but look at how he's playing and those kind of stuff. So I think Liverpool need to check that. Okay, they will check that. May sure say start the season in the middle of the season now, and they concede more goals than scoring now. That's where they think they will go and get a better player in defense. But I think all the same, they have a very good team, a solid from the goalkeeper to the striker, from the bench, and so they have a very solid team. So I'm just hoping that they will win the EPL again.
Benito, Liverpool's defense.
In fact, you've raised a wonderful subject. I think they should give you like $1,000 for such a thing. I'm just going through the official squad. As of now, they have Jeremy Frimpong as a defender.
Yes.
And Robertson.
And even Jeremy Frimpong, he's never played a full season as a fullback. He's always played as a wing back.
You are right.
Now, when you compare that to the player that
had that problem
with him,
so
with the Premier League is different.
Yes, with we can't just trust these Ryan Williams and Calvin Bassey. We can't trust them. But then since they are all defenders, we have Jeremy Frimpong and these two, so 3. Now Andy Robertson 4, Costa Tsimikas 5, then to Milos Kerkis, and of course to Ibrahima Konate, and then to Virgil van Dijk. So they have and Conor Bradley. Yes. Look at their profile. So in the absence of Virgil van Dijk and then Ibrahima Konate, who fills in the gap? That has been the problem. And I still think and believe that with the kind of system and slot we'll be playing using Milos Kerkis and then Jeremy Frimpong, the workload of Ryan Gravenberch and Alexis McAllister especially will be increased.
Yeah.
They should now be complementing the effort of the central defense. And to this time, Ryan Gravenberch and Alexis McAllister, they will be working more or less like the engine of Liverpool's team, so that Florian Wirtz will be drawing deeper into the midfield, helping in the initiation of attack before probably he disseminates to the right or the left to Mo Salah or Cody Gakpo respectively. They still have problem at their backline, which needs to be solved. But all in all, it boils down to the system of the coach, because we've seen Man City. They have sharp attack, they have wonderful midfielder, but when you go to their defense, they had problems. Yet they knew the system that favored them when they became a team that was
but you
difficult to beat.
That usually you don't get that lucky for 2 seasons in a row.
Yes,
Liverpool were very fortunate when it comes to injuries last season, or having none of their key players getting injured.
In fact, serious injury.
Any serious injury, any injury was maybe a week or two, just a minor hamstring injury and all that. They were playing with a full complement of their squad for most of the season.
Yeah.
But right now, let's even talk about Darwin Núñez, who is leaving to Al Hilal. If he leaves, and then you look at the options that they have, don't even add Isak, because Newcastle may decide to actually keep him, and still, because he's still under contract. So now, if you compare that forward line as well as against last year, you know, they actually lost Diogo Jota as well to an unfortunate demise, but which we all commiserate with. But they've lost Luis Diaz, and then they've brought in just Hugo Ekitike. Now, if Darwin Núñez is also going, those are three of let's say 4 of your best attackers that you've lost without maybe efficiently replacing them. Amongst the 3 players that I mentioned, they had, even in the Premier League, they had over 25 league goals. When you compare Luis Diaz's goal tally to Darwin Núñez's goal tally, and then you compare that to Diogo Jota's goal tally as well, and now the 3 of them are no longer there, and now Darwin Núñez is also on the verge to leave into Al Hilal. Let me hear your thoughts on this, the Darwin Núñez deal in particular.
I said this thing earlier, that Liverpool's prowess is just within their first 11. You are more first 11 if you are. I'm going to free a chair than effectively. I'm going to replace more first 11. And it's a major thing, I think, and Slot should pay attention to it. But then, up until this time, we've not heard, with the exception of Maguire, of any defender coming up, or any defender probably linked to join Liverpool, or those stories. It means that it isn't part of the agenda. It isn't part of their plan to be signing defenders, probably beefing up their squad with a defender or defenders. So it can happen as though they have different perception about the whole situation. Let's wait for the league to start. I do want to say, yes, sir. January will be around the corner. They might go into the transfer for defenders, of which that has been their deficiency. Their defense, it has been their shortfalls. And so let's see if probably within this space of time before the summer transfer window closes, they would get the signature of Maguire or other players on board.
So they definitely need to add to their squad, otherwise they'll be left, because as I usually say, this is a marathon and not a sprint. It's a marathon that you can actually add fresh legs, especially from the bench. As time goes on, you can freshen things up. But in the midfield position is where Liverpool are most fortunate when it comes to squad depth, because, and now let me compare that to one of their major title rivals in Arsenal, because Arsenal seem to be in and around the title chasing or title charging path each and every season. Now we compare Liverpool's defense to Arsenal's defense. Now Arsenal's defense, almost all the players are now coming back from injuries, so they are fit and then they are ready to fire for the new season at right back position, or in goalkeeper position. Actually, they have Kepa Arrizabalaga, who was a first choice goalkeeper for Bournemouth just last season, and he's now coming to play second to Fido to David Raya. And when you check right back position, they have Julian Timber, they have that's the Benjamin White. When you check at left back position, they have Zinchenko, Alexander Zinchenko, they have Ricardo Calafiori, they have Miles Lewis Kelly. At centre back, they have Jacob Kiwior, they have
Christian Mosquera,
they have Saliba. Now you can see the depth in comparison to Liverpool, and you can realize that the team to be better defensively this season is likely to be Arsenal. And now when you come to midfield, defensive midfield, they have Christian Norgard, they have that is
Odegaard.
I'm talking about Zubimendi also. Landlord, comparing squad depth, right? Even up front, they have Leandro Trossard, they have Gabriel Martinelli on the left, they have Kai Havertz, and then they have Victor Gyökeres for strike, and then they have at the right wing, they even have Gabriel Jesus, who come back, and he's just injured on the wings, and he is a very, very good player. So you look at
they signed Noni Madueke.
They've signed Noni Madueke. They signed Bukayo Saka, or they have Bukayo Saka. When you compare this particular squad depth, are Arsenal more of maybe the dark horse for this particular league? Do you see them running away with it?
I think coming into this season, a lot of teams have bought players. Chelsea's there. You forgot to add Chelsea to it.
Yes, sir. I mean, because of time,
Chelsea is the
Arsenal.
Teamwork and how they will present themselves is a very key thing. Teamwork is a very key thing. And the players that Arsenal is having, if you have a manager like Pep Guardiola and Hansi Flick, I will boldly sit down and say it's a done deal for Arsenal in Europe. But let's see. Yama Arteta. Time to see, because he was complaining of a typical striker. You have one now.
The striker that has scored 97 goals in 102 appearances.
Okay, so we just hoping that Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, a lot of players will give him the ball to score, because when Messi was in his peak, he scored almost 90 in a calendar year. They gave all the balls to him and he delivered. So we're just hoping that Omama Victor Bond or Shadia, I think it's Arsenal, the way back Arsenal that we knew, Omoko unbeaten in the season, is going to come back. We're just hoping for the love of former teammates and for the love we have for you too. So I'm going to share with our Arsenal team. We're just hoping that Arsenal will lift a trophy this season.
All right, Benito. Our time is fast spent, so my producer has directed us to just take our last thoughts on this particular one. Any news that you want to share with us as well? Last particular thoughts in this one.
Yes, so thanks for being with us throughout this time. We'll be coming your way on Friday, right? Yes, so we still have a lot more for you. We still have a lot more for you. In fact, Kumasi Asante Kotoko is still doing their preseason, giddy pa, and then Heart of Folk, they're also doing theirs. And so we have a lot of stories on Friday for you from the local scene.
Landlord.
I don't know, but I'm trying to be okay. I've just seen something on social media which is not making me feel okay. Concerning a helicopter which is missing in Obuasi, and there is a press conference going on right now at the Jubilee. I've seen Chief of Staff Julius Debra speaking, so we're just hoping that what we are hearing is not going to be true. But all the same, this life is really unfair. From last week, I've been the things that we are hearing in this country is becoming unbecoming. So just stay safe and be very careful. God is with us.
Just stay safe and be very careful. God is with us. That is the comment or the remark that we are closing this particular show with. It's been a wonderful time coming to your homes, coming on your phones, coming to your screens to bring you the best in the world of sports. My name is Nanaya Asari. Today, I did this in the studios with Champion Benito, the champion of champions, and Isaac Opoku, aka the landlord of Ghana football. Big shout out to my production team, my producer, Andy, Jewel, Joe, and the cables man as well, and everyone that's concerned. So this is how we call it a wrap of this particular show. Arrivederci. We'll see.